I'm going to start with the first question, and it's about the set list choice.
Sure.
When I look at your set list for that tour that you are on now,
Yeah.
I see some different songs compared to your previous tours, some new songs.
Yeah.
So that's a question from your fans. Your fans wonder the reason behind it.
Well, when coming up with the set list, we try to make every tour a little bit different, right?
Yeah,
so usually we're supporting a new album, so you'll hear a lot of songs from the new album because we're promoting it and we're excited about it, and those songs were never played live, so we're excited to play them live. But then we kind of mix it up with the Dream Theater catalog, and this is our 15th album, so we have a lot of music out there. Yeah, so we try to think, what songs have we not played in a while? That might be cool to do this, and there's still a whole bunch that we have.
Great.
So it's kind of fun, and then you sort of balance that with, there's certain songs that people want to hear.
Yeah.
So, do you play those or not? It's a little bit of a challenge. But when we first started practicing this set, I realized it was very complicated. It's a lot of music and a lot of notes. So I'm glad I'm glad it's finally, just feels normal now.
And then my next question is about your latest album. I can see the background,
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I like it. When we listen your latest album, we hear better production quality. Did you do anything to make it happen?
Well, there's a couple of things. This is the first album that we recorded in our own studio. So we built a studio a few years ago. Yeah, and so I did my solo album there. We did Liquid Tension Experiment 3 there. But this was the first Dream Theater album that we recorded there. So that's one difference. It was engineered by Jimmy T, who also engineered Distance Over Time. So he's fantastic and super talented and amazing. So, I think he felt really comfortable in our own space. And then thirdly is that this was the first album mixed by Andy Sneap. Now, I worked with Andy Sneap on my solo album. He mixed Terminal Velocity, and I thought that he just did such a great job on it. And I told him, I was like, I'd love to hear you mix a Dream Theater album. I think it would sound incredible. And sure enough, it came out great. Yeah, so I'm glad that people are liking the way it sounds. I'm so proud of it. I think Jimmy T and Andy did a fantastic job. And like I said, just having our own space and being really comfortable there, maybe that had something to do with it as well.
Awesome. Great. We have been seeing lately that your great friend, Jordan Roots, playing guitar on social media, especially on Instagram videos. It's a matter of question that whether he will be an opponent to you in the band.
He'll be what? I didn't hear what he said.
Opponent, take your place. I mean, he's a great musician.
That's very funny.
Yeah, actually, that was a joke. Actually, the
real
of course. Said, how your friend Jordan Rhodes, how does he contribute the guitar parts, guitar composition of your music, your albums, your works?
No, he doesn't. Only keyboard parts.
Okay.
No. Yeah. All the guitar comes from me.
There is a question that I want to ask, actually. I wanted to ask it before, but this is my first chance,
Sure.
You have some songs, relatively long durations, like Octavarium, The Count of the Tuscany.
Right.
I wonder the motivation behind it. How can you make it? It must be hard to produce them, compose them.
Well, it's actually kind of fun because, what we do when we go to write something like that, like A View from the Top of the World, the title track is also another example of that. And what we do is we kind of go in and we say, okay, there's no rules right now. There's no time limits. we're going to write, we kind of go into it saying we're going to write an epic piece of music, and it's probably going to be at least 15 minutes long or so. And so what that does is it kind of like, it sort of frees up your creativity, so you could take things where they need to go. If you want to develop a section, or if you want to sort of establish themes that might come back later, or just completely go in a different direction, explore very like angular things where all of a sudden the song takes a complete change. It's all okay, because it's all within the structure of this larger piece. And I've always said it's kind of like the closest thing to symphonic music, the classical music. Because if you think about the long symphonies and pieces, they have different movements. They have themes that are reoccurring. They're usually a very long piece of music. Listening to a piece of music like that is kind of like almost watching a mini movie. There's definitely a beginning, a middle, and an end. And so creatively, it's actually a lot of fun, So you have to approach it, I guess, sort of knowing the bigger picture, which is that you're going to write this huge piece of music, but also, not to be overwhelmed. Like you can't see the other side of the forest. You just kind of do like one piece at a time.
Yeah.
And it slowly starts to come together. Yeah.
Great. I got
the hard part is actually if you then choose to play that song live.
Oh.
Then as a musician, you have to go back and you have to relearn what you wrote, and like, how did I play that, and practice it for hours and hours. That's the hard part.
I see. You're right. I got my answer, and now I'm happy. Another question is about your new guitar, your signature guitar, Majesty 8 8-string guitar. It's a great guitar. I love them. I love your guitars. And are we going to see that guitar, especially that one 8-string guitar, on your upcoming works?
Absolutely. Yeah. I plan to use it a lot more. On the latest album, I got a prototype of it, so something that was workable right at the end of the writing sessions. And so we were able to write one more song with the 8-string, which is of course Awaken the Master. But now that the guitar exists, and I'm going to use it a lot more and write with it a lot more. It's an awesome instrument. I mean, it sounds, first of all, Ernie Ball Music Band, they just make the best guitars on the planet, and it's a Majesty, so it feels very familiar to me. But it has all this 8-string stuff you'd want to see, the fixed bridge and the fan frets and all that, the correct scale length. It's really a remarkable instrument. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's great. We are happy to hear that, actually.
Cool. Yeah, it's been a long time. I talked to the engineers at Music Man and to Sterling Ball over there about doing an 8-string for years. This was a project we talked about years ago. Wow. It finally became a reality. Yeah.
Awesome.
And it's also the first 8-string that Ernie Ball Music Man has ever made. They don't, before this they didn't make 8-string guitars. So it's new. Right. And new for them as well.
I see. Now, Devon Townsend, you have been touring with that great musician with this tour, and you will be playing here also in Turkey, Istanbul.
Yeah.
And I want to hear your opinions. What do you think about his music?
I think he's amazing. Yeah. I think it's incredible. I was just talking to him 2 days ago. I was sat down with him. I was like, Devon, you're incredible, man. What you're doing up there is like just so creative, so unique and cool. And some of this stuff just scares the crap out of me. It's like, it's just so twisted what he comes up with, but he has so many different sides, some of his music is so beautiful and moving, and some is just like really just, it sounds like a carnival in hell type of thing, and then some of it's real heavy. Yeah, it's amazing. He's a great entertainer on stage. He's really funny. So I think for the people who, and of course, he's a great guitar player. I have to say that as well. And vocalists. His vocals are insane. But I think for the people coming to the show, they really get like a great night of music, you know, having Devin and his band, and then our big Top of the World show. It's a lot of music. So people are leaving with smiles on their faces.
Yeah.
Sure.
My next question is about the songwriting style of your friend, John Myung.
Yeah.
I know that he wrote your music, Awaken the Master, and he has a unique style, as we all know. What makes the difference? What do you think that why he writes this song that way?
Well, he wrote the lyrics to the song.
Yeah.
The music is a collective process. But one of the things about John that I met him when I was 12 years old. So we've known each other since we were like little kids. And one of the things about John that I noticed right away in the way that he comes up with things creatively is that they're not the normal thing that you would expect, you know? Yeah. A really good example is if you do you know the song Yet Say Jam from the first Dream Theater record, the instrumental? Yeah, that main riff is a John Myung riff, and like it's the type of thing when you hear that you're like, what is it? Like it's hard to you know, you start to like try to count it and you can't really count it, but like to him it comes out very naturally. There are so many moments in our music that John brings to the table that are like that. You know, you can hear them in View from the Top of the World, certainly in Awaken the Master. And it's such a refreshing musical writing style because he just comes in with these ideas and he's like, oh, you know, check this out. And he starts playing and everybody's looking at each other like, what are you playing? Like, what is that? Like, we try to understand it. Now, of course, now, you know, we've been playing together for so long that I think I understand him probably the most out of anybody and where he's coming from. And so we have a great musical chemistry writing together. Yeah, so that's just one side of his unique approach. And then lyrically, yeah, I mean, he comes in, you know, the process with John lyrically is he comes in with almost like more like poetry than song lyrics. And I'll work together with him on crafting them into like a more of a lyrical form. But he is a very, I don't know, just a really creative mind and a very unique way of doing things. And I think it's like, it's part of what makes string theater unique. Yeah, exactly. You know, it's all of our little stylistic, you know, approaches and all of our idiosyncrasies and things that make us unique and weird and cool, you know, whatever the thing is. when you put that together, you get Dream Theater and so it's a great collection of different sort of creative minds. Yeah,
I see. Awesome. The Alien, your music got awarded by the Grammy.
It did. That's unbelievable.
Did you expect this? Did you expect
no? No. First of all, that is just unbelievable still to me. You know, it's an incredible thing for a progressive metal band from Long Island, New York, you know, to win a Grammy. It's just, it doesn't make any sense, but it's so cool. It was our third nomination. So, you know, there's a lot of great bands in the category this year again. I actually went, the Grammys were held in Las Vegas. My wife, Raina, and I went. The other guys did not go to the Grammys. But my wife and I were there. And when they announced the Alien, I was like, whoa, you know, just losing my mind. I had to go up there and give a speech and it was just surreal, just really, really cool. So I think it's amazing for the Recording Academy to recognize, you know, like prog metal for one of the first times. I think that's pretty cool. So it was a big moment in our career, a big personal moment for sure.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
crazy. It's crazy.
It was. It was.
Yeah.
My next question is about James Labrie, one of your great friends. And I heard something that he had undergone a food poisoning long ago. And we wondered that whether that poisoning affect his vocal cords.
Yeah, I mean, you'll have to ask him about that,
If I have a chance, I will.
Yeah. I mean, to me, he's like my favorite singer in the world. So
yeah,
I love, I love writing, being in a band with him, recording him. And it's just, he's brilliant. So it's something that, again, you talk about the sound of a band and what everybody contributes. And, with the exception of the first album, James has been the voice of Dream Theater since Images and Words. So when I hear him sing over the music that we write, it's just, that's the magical combination. Do you play guitar?
Yeah, I play guitar and
nice.
Schecter C1.
There you go. You have to get yourself a Ernie Ball Music Man.
Oh, maybe later I can do that.
Nice.
It was a great pleasure and honor to chat with you.
Nice talking to you too, and I'm looking forward to Istanbul. That's actually the last stop of this this tour in Europe, and it's, as we've been off tour for over 2 years because of the pandemic. So we've just been so excited to see people again and play. So it's going to be good. All right, very good. Well, nice talking to you.
Okay, nice to see you.
Okay,
take care.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye bye.